So the next speaker we have for this afternoon is Jorge González, Associate Professor at the University of A Coruña. And he's going to explain behind an HPC Master's challenges in coordinating for excellence. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Okay, as Jordi said, I'm a professor at the University of A Coruña, and I was invited here by doing now because I'm the coordinator of a HPC Master. So people here thought that it would be interesting to talk about our master. When I was invited, I immediately said yes, of course. First, because a travel to Barcelona is always welcome. And second, because it was a good option to promote our master and maybe get more highly skilled students. But then when I started to prepare the slides, I say, okay, and besides showing them that we have a master and the chance to do it online, what else can I offer to the audience? So I decided to focus on explaining which challenges or problems we had to face in the past and we have to face every year in order to teach and master with excellence. And that this is an excellent master is not, I don't tell it because I'm the coordinator. I tell it because we have obtained from the Xunta de Galicia, the regional government there, a seal of excellence that is only obtained by the best titles in our region. But first, I will start with an introduction, some insights about our master. Probably the main characteristic is that it is interuniversitary. It is shared between the University of A Coruña and the University of Santiago de Compostela. These two cities are both in Galicia, but separated by more or less 75 kilometers. So we have professors in Coruña, we have professors in Santiago, we have students enrolled in Coruña, we have students enrolled in Santiago. It's not ideal to move them for every lecture, so we have to manage this. Of course, in a Master for HPC, we have to offer the students the opportunity to compile and execute assignments in an HPC infrastructure. So we have a collaboration with the Galicia Supercomputing Center, CESGA, providing access to the Finisterrae 3 supercomputer. Then we had to thought about which subjects to teach in our master. This master is taught for 1 year. I think it's enough for continue the studies after probably computer science. Although we also have the option for part-time, dividing it in 2 years if the students are working. This master have mainly 4 compulsory subjects. High-performance architectures, parallel programming with mostly OpenMP and MPI, programming heterogeneous architectures, focus on CUDA for NVIDIA GPUs, but also with OpenCL and introduction to FPGAs, and high-performance infrastructures more focused not only on hardware, but also on middleware like operating systems or Q systems. And then we offer 4 optional subjects, and each student has to choose 2 of them between HPC tools, HPC on the cloud, data analytics for HPC, and advanced and parallel programming. And we have some special subjects, project workshop, where we receive external speakers to talk about their experience in the companies or in research centers, and the professional practice and the master thesis. The maximum number of students that we can receive every year is 25, 13 enrolled in Coruña, and 12 enrolled in Santiago de Compostela. But what we thought is that, okay, Galicia is not a so populated region. Okay, probably will be difficult to find every year 25 people living in Galicia who wanted to study an HPC Master. So we proposed to our universities to, okay, make the possibility to do it online. Yes, they accepted. So 9 of the students every year can follow the master online. But this makes the things even more difficult to coordinate. Besides, we have a double degree agreement with a French university who was very interested in our master, concretely with a bachelor in something like mathematics engineering. In this bachelor, they had some subjects related especially to data analytics in HPC or these kind of things. So we agreed that if they come to Spain for 2 months and they study 4 of our subjects, after that, they can have in the 3 years that in France they need to complete a bachelor, they can have at the same time the bachelor in mathematical engineer and the HPC Master. And as I told you, we have received in 2022 the Seal of Excellence from Xunta de Galicia. There was an external committee who decided to give us this seal. They took into account the high quality of the professorship, the means that we provide to the students, more things that I don't remember so much. I remember to write a very long proposal with different things. The good point, okay, we have the seal, I can tell you that we are excellent, and also they provide us money to make some activities. For example, to pay some research visits, some visits to university for the professor to learn how they do some things in other universities, to invite the speakers for talks, to give some money to the best to the students who make the best master thesis, or paying travels to promote the masters in some conferences. So, as I told you, I want to focus on the challenges and the problems that maybe, if in the future you want to create not a master, but a course related to HPC, maybe you have to also face them, and maybe the solutions that we have can help you in the future. I have divided them in 3 parts. Probably the most interesting ones are the first 2, dealing with heterogeneity, for example, the different kind of students that we have, and the access to the resources. And then, I don't know, I think it's also interesting to see the obstacles that we have from the administration. So, regarding the heterogeneity, the first heterogeneous thing that we have is the learning modality. As 2/3 of the lectures are taught from A Coruña by professors of the University of A Coruña, and the other from Santiago, Compostela. So it means that for every lecture, we have some students in the same classroom as the professor. We have other students in a classroom, but in another town, and other students following the master at home, because we have online students. What do we do? Okay, really, we deal the on-site students that are in the other, at the other university as online students in general. So we have our projector right here for the on-site students, and with a good microphone and camera, we broadcast everything through a group of Microsoft Teams that we have. And we also record every lecture just in case, because it happens that we have some students from South America, the time is completely difficult, so that they don't have to be following the master at night. They can watch the videos next day. So we have created a Microsoft Teams specific for the master using the IT infrastructure of the University of A Coruña. It has a general channel for information like talks, deadlines, etc. And also 2 channels per subject. One open to the students when we have the sessions recorded, and they have the information and the material provided by the professors, and another channel for each subject only for the professors of these subjects, where they can share private information that is not for the students. But Microsoft Teams is not enough. We need something else, for example, to submit the practical assignments. We could tell the students to send them by email, but I don't know, mixing everything, the emails for research with this kind of emails will be a mess. And also something for the online exams. Nowadays, I think that almost every university has a virtual campus. Okay? But the problem here is that when we started the master, the virtual campus of the university was not prepared at all for interuniversity studies. So in the virtual campus of the University of A Coruña, we could only have students enrolled at the University of A Coruña. And the virtual campus of the University of Santiago de Compostela could only have students from the University of Santiago de Compostela. So, possible solution to replicate everything and have every professor to work with both virtual campus. But we managed another solution that CESGA had its own virtual campus open for different kind of students. So we decided to use it and put all the students in the same virtual campus. So it was easier for the professors. It was more difficult for me as a coordinator because I had to do this task every year, to put the new students there. But I mean, for the professors, it's easier. Another source of heterogeneity is the language. In terms that, if we want to make our master international, for example, we have students from this double degree with the French university, of course, we have to give everything in English. But all the professors are Spanish. And the mother language is Spanish. They are more comfortable teaching in Spanish. Moreover, they don't have almost any benefit from teaching in English. They are more or less, they are almost all civil servants. And now you have to teach in English. And what is my benefit? None. We have a problem. I have to tell that most of them agreed. Most said, it's very interesting to teach in this master. I agree with doing that. But some of them not. They said, I am not comfortable teaching in English, so I prefer not doing it and teaching in Spanish. But they are really experts in HPC. What do? We discard them? So we manage a mix. We try to put professors who agreed to teaching English together in most of subjects, and we managed that almost all out of the 5 compulsory subjects, 4 of them have professors that agreed to teaching English, and they are completely taught in English. Only one, programming heterogeneous architectures, is taught in Spanish, because there was one professor, expert in CUDA for NVIDIA GPUs, who said that she was not comfortable to do it in English. But she agreed to create videos, so the foreign students could watch these videos, pre-recorded, recorded previously to the lectures, and not use the lectures to learn to get the knowledge. And regarding the optional subjects, 2 of them are taught in English. So as a coordinator, I have to tell to the students that don't speak Spanish, you should choose HPC tools and data analytics for HPC because they are taught in English. And finally, another problem that we had is the work balance, another source for heterogeneity. The main problem is this is only 1 year for the whole master, but we have to do some professional practices and the master thesis. To start the professional practices, of course, you need some knowledge, some basic knowledge about HPC. Otherwise, you can do nothing. So the professional practices and the master thesis are in the 2nd semester, but we have to put many subjects in the 1st semester, probably more than we wanted. But otherwise, they wouldn't have the knowledge to start the professional practices. So I always warn the students that be careful, because the 1st semester is quite hard, and you have many lectures. Then the second challenge that we had was the access to the computational resources. First, as I told you before, we needed to provide access to shared memory systems, to several nodes for MPI, for example, for processes with MPI, to GPUs, FPGAs. But we were lucky because with the collaboration with CESGA, they provide access to all these kind of infrastructures. And for the subject that needs to work with cloud, we paid for some instance in AWS. The main advantage of using the Finisterre 3 supercomputing is that this is a real HPC environment, so the students also get used to work with this kind of supercomputers. Okay? They have to load modules to get the compilers and the tools. They have to work with the queue systems and wait for the, for the queues. Okay, this is great because they also get the experience for the future, but this is also bad because sometimes they have to wait. Okay, in general, I said wait. But the problem is, what happens if we have a lecture, a practical lecture of 2 hours, and maybe the Finisterre at that moment is full of jobs from other people, and the students cannot do the small things, the small tasks, and execute them that the professor wants. In that cases, the CESGA can provide us some resources, just reserve 2 or 3 nodes for us for some hours, so only the students of the masters have access to these resources, and we can work with them. I have to thank CESGA for the great support, technical support that they provide to us. Regarding with the resources, as a coordinator, some resources that I have to provide to the students are the possibility to complete the professional practices that, besides, they are compulsory. It was something that they asked for the seal of excellence to have compulsory practices. The practices here are of 150 hours. The main problem is that in Galicia, we don't have so many companies related to HPC. Okay. So, which solution I have? First, to open the practices to be online. Okay. For example, my first relation with Do It Now was some practices with someone who is here, who later was hired by the company, and they were online. Another option is that, okay, some students come and they are already working in a company, or they have worked in advance with something related with HPC, in many cases something related with clusters or with clouds. So in this case, they already have the experience to work in a company. They don't need it again. So in this case, they can validate the previous work. If they have done at least 400 hours in at least 6 months, it is enough. And the third option is that in many cases, this master is the previous step for a PhD. In that case, the student is going to focus on research later, so we also allow to complete the professional practices in a research center or in a department of the university. And finally, I also put here that we have to give the students some resource to complete the exams. All the subjects are focused on practical, are very practical, and most of the mark is through practical assignment. But some professors want to make a final exam because the practical assignments are easier to copy than the exam. But the problem is that we have online students and on-site students, and we want to be fair, and we want to put the same exam for all of them. What do we do? Okay, as we have online students and they cannot come because maybe they are in South America or they cannot come, we cannot force them to come to Galicia, all the students do the exam online through the virtual campus. The main difference is that the on-site students have to come with their laptop to the classroom and do it there with the supervision of the professor. Of course, I told you we cannot force the on-site online students to do the same. Something that we know, that we realize is that, okay, the online students, one in Argentina, one in Cuba, one in Spain, etc., they usually they don't know each other so much to collaborate during the exam. But the on-site students, they have been together for 4 months in the same classroom. If we let them to do the exam at home, they will be at home, at the same home. It's the same room, sharing the knowledge. So we force them to be together with the professor to control that. We have also thought about controlling the online students, but it is difficult. Firstly, because the software needed to install is usually expensive and heavy, so sometimes the laptop that they have is not enough to do that. And maybe, as it's usually that we have to use the camera and record something about their home, probably, and we can have problems with the personal rights. So finally, very fast, I will talk about some administrative obstacles that we have and we had to face. The first one, I have already told you that, for example, for teaching English, the professors don't have so much benefit. But not only for that, okay, the task is teaching, but I also need people to supervise master thesis or to be in the committee of the master thesis, and really the discounts of teaching that they obtain because of that is almost negligible, less than the time that they spend, of course. So I am every year asking for favor, asking and asking, and finally sometimes they get fed up, but I'm quite happy with them. But I'm scared that at some point they will, I will not have professors to do that. Then there is a problem of being interuniversitary, because the regulations and the calendars between the two universities maybe is not the same. Every year we had, okay, we could say, okay, this date for the deadline for the master thesis if you are enrolled at the University of A Coruña, this date if you are enrolled at the University of Santiago and Compostela. It will be very confusing for the students. So every year we try to find dates that overlap both calendars. Another one, okay, as a coordinator, as professors, we are making efforts in taking students, foreign students. But the administration of the university, no one speaks in English. Even if they want, they don't do it. If they can, they don't do it. So, okay, at the beginning, this is another barrier for the foreign students. Okay, so I'm asking emails, answering emails that are not for me because I'm the academic coordinator, but answering email about the taxes or how to pay, anything because they are in English and otherwise no one is going to answer them. And I have also translated by myself part of the regulation related to the master. Then also delay with the money. It's great. I mean, we have money from the Seal of Excellence, that's true. But even in the best case, we can only pay things between March and October, and the summer is in the middle. So we are quite limited. And even, for example, this year, nowadays, when I created, nowadays we have the money, but it was last week after sending these slides, okay? And the problem is that, for example, if we want someone to give a talk, I cannot wait. I thought that we will have the money for March. I had agreed some visits, and later, I don't have the money, don't come. This is a loss of reputation. Finally, we managed to pay with other funds or the research group, but shouldn't be used for that. Other option is to negotiate with partners to pay later, or try to focus everything in September, October, but not so much. And finally, the lack of support in general from the IT services of the university. Thank you, CESGA, not to the university that we have so much work. I'm gonna more or less finish. I had here some examples of success stories, but some examples of professional practices. For example, the first one is the one made by Christian. It was some years ago, so it was HPC now, a proof of concepts for open on demand. We are very happy that he was hired, and I think that everyone is very happy with him. So finally, what I wanted to explain, I have shown you the challenges that we had to face to have a success with our master, a master of excellence, because it addresses, I think, all HPC topics, or almost all of them. because it has a seal of excellence that says exactly the same. It works perfectly for different kinds of students. It has high interest. We have the 25 students every year for the last year, and we have to discard some applicants. And we can say that we have 100% of employing rate. After 1 year, all the students are working. Also, I want to remark that it's the beginning of several doctoral theses, and for example, we are very proud of 2 of them that started in the last 2 years in collaboration with CERN. CERN has seen that, that our students are not so bad, and they are working with them, especially because they need the analysis that they obtain, or the data that they obtain for particle accelerations, they need to work on GPUs. Because it's too much. So they think that our master is a good source for employees. And this is everything. Thank you very much for the attendance.
Thank you so much. Do you have any questions? In the meantime, I can. So.
And how many people applies for these places?
Okay, I'm going to be fair. We have many applicants that really only apply for the visa. So I'm going to try to discard them more or less. We have like 100 applicants every year, but probably if we remove that, it will be like a half, like 50 or 45, so it depends. How we select?
How do you select? Yeah.
Okay, the points are 20% depends on the bachelor that you got in advance. So if it is computer science, you get 2 points. If this is another engineer, 1 point. It depends. 50% the average mark that you have from this bachelor, and 30% is more subjective. It depends on your CV. You're welcome.
Did you experience competition with other masters from the same institution, for example, the quantum computing one?
Not really, not really. It's quite difficult to see if there is competence from other masters from other universities in Spain. It's easier to see it if they are in the University of A Coruña, because in the administration we see if the applicants have asked for more than 1 master and in which position they will have the priorities. In general, it's not the problem. I mean, there are some students who come from computer science and they just want a master, and I don't know, they apply for 10 masters or something like this. But we have not seen any difference. For example, in Coruña, we have also, I think, also interuniversitary. Between Vigo, Coruña, and Santiago, there is a new master on quantum computing, and we have not seen that there is more competence.
So I have a question. So how much competition there is across all the companies that are willing to have
not too much, not too much. Really, I decided to do it quite, quite personal, the search for the companies, because there are some years that maybe out of the 25 students, maybe 20 of them have validated with the previous experience, and I only have to find a place for 5 of them, and maybe 3 of them want to stay at the university, so I only have to search for 2 companies, and other years that I have to search for 10 companies. So not so much competence is otherwise. I have to search for them.
So from our point of view, from our experience, the experience has been wonderful. So we need more Christians.
I know, but the problem is I don't have so many Christians. I have many students, but not all of them are like him.
I have a question about the set of classes or courses that the students are supposed to take. Is there a group of like elective courses that the students can choose from, or it's all fixed for everybody? Like, is there like the courses, are they like divided into core and elective classes?
Yeah.
Or it's all like one set of...
There are some subjects, some lectures that are compulsory, okay, and out of these 4 optional subjects, the students have to choose 2 of them.
Another quick question. How do you do like rounds of evaluation, maybe to see if all the intended learning outcomes were met, especially if you want to do some sort of, I don't know, if you're interested in like some sort of accreditation or something, like ABET or something, like how do you do that with the professors?
Can you repeat?
Like how do you do evaluation rounds with the professors to make sure that all the intended learning outcomes of the classes were met?
No. We don't check if you have followed all the classes. I mean, no, not really. I mean, you can follow because as the lectures are recorded, really it will be very difficult to see which people have followed the lectures or not. And really, we don't mind. So if you follow the lecture at the same time as the professor is teaching, or you watch the video later. So there is no problem with that.
Any more questions? No? Awesome. Thank you so much.
Okay, you're welcome.